During this news conference with the Prime Minister of Singapore, President Obama was asked about the fitness of Donald Trump. President Obama didn't pull any punches, and he has said during this news conference what a lot of people are thinking, but don't have the balls to verbalize. Here is his comments regarding the fitness of Donald Trump.
Yes, I think the Republican nominee is unfit to serve as president. I said so last week, and he keeps on proving it. The notion that he would attack a Gold Star family that had made such extraordinary sacrifices on behalf of our country. The fact that he doesn't appear to have basic knowledge around critical issues in Europe, in the Middle East, in Asia, means that he's woefully unprepared to do this job. And this is not just my opinion. I think what's been interesting is the repeated denunciations of his statements by leading Republicans, including the Speaker of the House and the Senate Majority Leader and prominent Republicans like John McCain. And the question I think that they have to ask themselves is, if you are repeatedly having to say in very strong terms that what he has said is unacceptable, why are you still endorsing him? What does this say about your party that this is your standard bearer? This isn't a situation where you have an episodic gaffe. This is daily and weekly, where they are distancing themselves from statements he's making. There has to be a point at which you say, this is not somebody I can support for President of the United States. Even if he purports to be a member of my party. And the fact that that has not yet happened makes some of these denunciations ring hollow. I don't doubt their sincerity. I don't doubt that they were outraged about some of the statements that Mr. Trump and his supporters made about the Khan family. But there has to come a point at which you say, somebody who makes those kinds of statements doesn't have the judgment, the temperament, the understanding to occupy the most powerful position in the world. Because a lot of people depend on the White House getting stuff right. And this is different than just having policy disagreements. I recognize that they all profoundly disagree with myself or Hillary Clinton on tax policy or on certain elements of foreign policy. But there have been Republican presidents with whom I disagreed with, but I didn't have a doubt that they could function as president. I think I was right and Mitt Romney and John McCain were wrong on certain policy issues, but I never thought that they couldn't do the job. And had they won, I would have been disappointed. But I would have said to all Americans, this is our president, and I know they're going to abide by certain norms and rules and common sense. Will observe basic decency. will have enough knowledge about economic policy and foreign policy and our constitutional traditions and rule of law that our government will work, and then we'll compete 4 years from now to try to win an election. But that's not the situation here. And that's not just my opinion. That is the opinion of many prominent Republicans. There has to come a point at which you say, enough. And the alternative is that the entire party, the Republican Party, effectively endorses and validates the positions that are being articulated by Mr. Trump. And as I said in my speech last week, I don't think that actually represents the views of a whole lot of Republicans out there. With respect to Libya.
All right, so obviously I agree with what he said regarding Trump 100%. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that really don't give a shit. Donald Trump has stated that he could go out and shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and he wouldn't lose a supporter. And there is ample evidence of that. But people of goodwill, people of good moral standing, there's got to be a point in time where you have to say, hey, look, I can't back this guy. I just cannot back this guy. I mean, Obama was correct. Every week, this guy is saying something, and then the leaders of the Republican Party, to a man, come out and repudiate him and say that they don't agree with him in the strongest terms. But how many times can you say that before it becomes meaningless? How can you support a guy that you disagree with on a moral basis? And that's what the disagreement, the latest disagreement is. It's on a moral basis. Either you have morals or you don't. And if you do, you know, you may want to swallow once or twice, and you really shouldn't, but maybe you do swallow once or twice for the greater good. But you can't swallow every single day, every single week. That's too much swallowing. You're going to develop diarrhea and an upset stomach. And then you're going to get sick, and if you swallow too much, you're going to die. And that's what's happening here. Not physical death, but moral death. People are basically drinking the Kool-Aid, giving up their morals in order to support this guy. And that just ain't right.